One thing we know for certain is that lots of the bad faith individuals were debating whether or not Iran has a nuclear weapon or if they developed one, even though Iran has 60% enriched uranium, which means that they are close, if not already having the capability to develop a nuclear bomb, which you don't actually want. Trump has been very consistent in saying that they cannot have a nuclear weapon. That would be very, very bad for America, for Israel, and the West, because if they do have a nuclear weapon, what do you think they're going to do with it? The very first thing that they will do with it is bomb the living crap out of Israel or pretty much the likes of the US or anywhere in the West, to be fair with you, because that's what they've been saying for the longest time. And so is Trump saying that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And well, Dave Smith has been called out by the great Tommy Robinson, who is a lot smarter and a lot wiser than this particular dingbat of an individual that makes no sense half the time. It sounds like he makes sense, right? Sounds like he has some good points, but then when you coincide it with the likes of Konstantin Kisin or even Tommy Robinson that actually know what they're talking about, whatever Dave Smith says, you take it literally with a grain of salt. It's not one of those things that you are supposed to listen to and, go along with. It's one of those things that you listen to and then let it go out the other ear, right? Go in one ear, out the other. It's not important. Now, Dave Smith recently said this over on his X account. And by the way, someone needs to check up on him, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, you name it. All of them that have been this, we can't go to war. We can't allow America's involvement because that would be detrimental, be bad. You don't want the alternative, meaning Iran has a nuclear bomb. But anyway, someone needs to check up on their welfare because Trump just bombed the 3 nuclear sites with American bombs. And it was a big payload, according to Trump. And, Dave Smith probably is having a meltdown at the moment going, whoa, hold on a minute, hold on. Anyway, let's have a look-see at what Dave Smith said so then we can get on to the more better part of Tommy Robinson ripping him a new one. Okay, I'll try my best to deal with it using the term that describe it because that makes total sense. By the way, Dave Smith also said that because someone, kids and Iranians that are on the side of the death cult, because they're chanting death to America, we shouldn't get involved with, just because they're chanting it doesn't mean anything, right? So it's just a chant. It doesn't mean they actually mean it. It's just them chanting death to America, death to the West, you name it. Like that doesn't mean that we should get involved in the war. Right. Okay. We're not getting involved in a war, just so you're aware of that. But also you've got a group of people that are chanting those vile things and you want to do nothing about it. Okay. Let it slide, Dave Smith. By all means, let that slide, let that go. Let the alternative happen and see how far you get. Probably not very far at all, considering you say that your whatever grandparents are Jewish. You got Jewish lineage. Wonder how that would go down. Oh, but I've been defending you, Iran. I've been defending the Muslims. I'm on your side. Yeah, sure, mate. Sure you are. You're Jewish, so we're going to end your life too. And also, you're American, you're libertarian. That's another reason to knock you off. Anyway, Iran wasn't allowed to enrich up to 60% under the JCPOA, but they did. And by all accounts, they weren't, but they did. Then Trump idiotically pulled out of the deal and allowed them to. So you're blaming Trump. Right. The 60% is something to have to negotiate away in exchange for lifting of sanctions and avoiding a war. Hang on a minute. The 60% is something to have to negotiate away in exchange for lifting of sanctions. Oh, okay. We're going to have 60% enriched uranium, meaning we've got a nuclear bomb. like Dave Smith said the other day, I think it was during Piers Morgan and Konstantin Kissin's debate, that we're going to actually show that we can have a bomb. We're not going to actually have a bomb, but we're going to show that we can have a bomb. What for? Oh, for lifting of sanctions and avoiding a war. We're going to show that we can have the capabilities of creating a nuclear bomb to avoid sanctions and lift sanctions and avoid a war. Oh, my goodness. Does he not understand that if these people have 60% enriched uranium, it means they are developing a bomb or could have had a nuclear bomb? So them having it is not for them to lift sanctions and avoid a war. Them having it definitely would have started a war. Hence why Trump was saying the entire time Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Anyway, they were willing to negotiate. Well, then why did all the negotiations fail? Dave, that down, but the Hawks insisted on putting a poison pill in the negotiations and demand zero enrichment of uranium. This was intentional to kill negotiations and bring us to a war, according to you dingbat. This was not about war. No one wants war. Everyone wants peace, though. But how are you going to get peace through a death cult, exactly, that wants you gone? Oh, it's okay. They're allowed to chant death to America, death to the West. That's fine with me. I don't really care. Why should I care about that? If they got a nuclear weapon, man, I guarantee you would start caring. Even Netanyahu, here we go, said it would take them a year to develop a nuclear weapon. And as always, he's lying. I think you're the one that's lying quite a bit, mate. The consensus from all of the intelligence is that Iran has not made the political decision to pursue a nuclear weapon. So, yes, you are going to believe Iran over your own country's intelligence. Right. Seems to me that you are siding with a death cult more than you are your own country. So much for the patriotism, Dave Smith. Anyway, and that if they were to, they would have to kick out the inspectors and it would take years. In other words, we would know with plenty of time. No, because your same argument is Israel has got nuclear weapons. Why is it that Israel is allowed to have nuclear weapons, kick out the inspectors, but Iran can't? Oh, okay. We know that Israel has nuclear capabilities, even though Israel has said they don't have nuclear capabilities. But Iran, they've said that they don't have nuclear capabilities, but they've got 60% enriched uranium. But we've got to use the inspectors. So Israel kicked out the inspectors and Iran won't kick out the inspectors. They won't allow the inspectors there, or they won't hide something. Maybe a little bit of common sense. You're defending a terrorist organization that funds terrorism all over the world. Ever thought about that for a second? Don't worry, we'll get into Tommy Robinson's response in just a moment. The 60% talking point is completely bullshit and irrelevant. Dealt with. How's it irrelevant exactly? Tommy goes, this is a R-worded take. And it underscores the inability of some to actually understand the threat posed by the Iranian regime. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants boots on the ground. Nobody likes neocons in their forever wars. Nobody in their right mind wants the Iranian regime to enrich uranium to weapons grade so they can bring about the end of days and their hidden imam in some glorious 12er shit rapture. Know the utterances of the Iranian regime and develop a better understanding of their guiding ideology. Start there, Comic Dave. I think Tommy Robinson having his take on this, once again, bringing common sense, telling people how it actually is, including the likes of Dave Smith. Maybe you should do a little bit of digging and a little bit more investigation on the Iranian regime that you so vehemently defend, Dave Smith. And yet you claim to be America first. Again, it's not about starting a war. Nobody wants war. No one wants boots on the ground. You missed the point entirely. And that's what I mean. When you have this bent against Israel and you have got no idea about anything, it's amazing to me just the level of insanity that creeps in and takes over one's brain. And that's exactly what's happened to Dave Smith. Exactly what's happened. If you can't see logic and reason, mate, you're the problem. Just like Candace is, the whole lot of them. Because you don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, but they're like, oh, they don't have it. Just like Israel says that Israel doesn't have one too, right? So if Israel says they don't have one, but we know that they do, what about Iran? You're going to trust Iran over Israel? Okay, fair enough. See how that turns out. Israel is not bombing the West or chanting death to the West. When they tell you who they are, you best well believe them, right? Anyway, good on Tommy. Once again, greatest Britain. He deserves an award for all he's done. He deserves a lot, but especially an apology from the dingbats that said that he was all kinds of things, except a patriot and a hero. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. Be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.